Imagine returning home on an ordinary Saturday afternoon, expecting nothing more than another quiet weekend with your family. Instead, you find the person you love lying motionless inside your own house. Within minutes, police cars, ambulances, and crime scene investigators fill the driveway. Neighbours begin looking through their windows, wondering what happened in one of the safest communities in New Jersey. Before the sun sets, what began as a desperate 911 call becomes a homicide investigation. Tonight, we're going to talk about the murder of Brooke Hanlin, a respected psychotherapist, a wife, and a new mother whose life ended inside the very home where she had been building her family's future. Months later, investigators still haven't publicly identified a suspect or explained why she was targeted. Welcome to the podcast, You Can't Unhear. Brooke Hanlin was 35 years old and had spent much of her life helping other people through theirs. She grew up in Chester Township, New Jersey, before earning her undergraduate degree at Wake Forest University. Later, she completed a master's degree in clinical psychology at Northeastern University in Boston and became a licensed psychotherapist. Friends and colleagues remembered her as thoughtful, patient, and deeply compassionate. She worked with children, teenagers, adults, and families, guiding people through anxiety, trauma, grief, and some of the most difficult moments they would ever experience. While living in Massachusetts, Brooke met James Hanlin. The two eventually married and, after several years, decided to return to New Jersey to be closer to family. By 2025, life seemed to be entering an exciting new chapter. They had recently welcomed their first child, a daughter. Brooke continued building her career while balancing the challenges and joys of becoming a new mother. From the outside, it looked like the life she had worked so hard to create. Nothing about the days leading up to June 7th suggested anything was wrong. Neighbours later recalled ordinary conversations. One even exchanged text messages with James just days earlier about a bear getting into the neighbourhood trash. It was the kind of small talk that happens in quiet suburban communities every day. No arguments. No public conflicts. Nothing that hinted a tragedy was only days away. Saturday, June 7th, 2025. Began like any other weekend. At approximately 4:45 that afternoon, emergency dispatchers received a frantic 911 call. The caller was James Hanlin. He reported that his wife was unresponsive inside their home and urgently requested medical assistance. First responders arrived within minutes. Despite their efforts, there was nothing they could do. Brooke Hanlin was pronounced dead at the scene. Very quickly, investigators realized this wasn't a medical emergency. The circumstances inside the house immediately raised concerns, and detectives from the Morris County Prosecutor's Office Major Crimes Unit took over the investigation. The home was sealed. Crime scene technicians began documenting every room, every object, and every possible piece of evidence. The medical examiner later confirmed what investigators had already feared. Brooke had died from multiple sharp force injuries. Her death was officially ruled a homicide. The case is shocking as the stabbing happened in her own home in Chester Township, which is a very affluent community. We're talking about a population of just under 8,000 people, but a median household income of about $250,000. On the other hand, authorities released very little information. Investigators intentionally withheld many forensic details, explaining that certain facts would only be known by the person responsible. As detectives began reconstructing Brooke's final days, they examined every aspect of her life. her work, her family, her friendships, her daily routine. Even her career as a psychotherapist became part of the investigation, although authorities have never publicly suggested that her profession was connected to her death. Months have now passed since Brooke was killed. The investigation remains active. No arrests have been announced. No suspect has been publicly identified. And perhaps most unsettling of all, investigators have never explained why someone entered that home in the first place. For Brooke's family, however, the headlines tell only a small part of the story. They remember a devoted wife, a loving mother, a daughter, a sister, a therapist who spent her life helping others find hope during their darkest moments. Now, they're waiting for answers of their own. Perhaps that's what makes cases like this so difficult to understand. Sometimes there's a motive, a suspect, a confession. Sometimes the pieces eventually fit together. But every so often, a family is left with nothing except questions. Questions about an ordinary Saturday that somehow became the last day of someone's life. The death of Brooke Hanlin remains one of the most troubling unsolved homicide cases in recent New Jersey history. What began as an ordinary summer afternoon ended with the loss of a respected psychotherapist, devoted wife and new mother whose life had been dedicated to helping others. The question at the heart of the case remains unanswered. Who was responsible and why? Thank you for joining me tonight. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the podcast because every day we uncover another story that blurs the line between crime, mystery, history, and the questions that still remain unanswered. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe. I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.